It's Pride Night here at Cousins Gymnasium as we welcome you this evening for some NESCAC men's basketball action. The Wesleyan Cardinals have made the 2-hour journey up to Medford, Massachusetts for some men's basketball actions here on JumboCast. I'm Ethan Ito. I'm joined here by Jake Flossie and Daniel Klingbeil. We're looking at two teams that have been on some very different trajectories these past few weeks as we approach the final weekend of regular season action. Let's start with the visitors. Jake, what do you want to see out of the Cardinals this evening?
So this Wesleyan team's got a bit of a hill to climb. They're obviously 1-3 in the last couple of weeks and are facing some precarious NESCAC situations. So first off for them, they need to not be intimidated by the crowd here in Cousins. They're 1-7 in away games this season. Their only win coming to Shiva in a game they definitely should be winning. They've had some rough losses on the road, including to Eastern Connecticut State, who are 4-18 on the season. Not a loss you like to see in your schedule. So they need to make sure that they bring energy to Cousins, and Tufts is a good team when playing at home. They have only one loss all season at home, which is Connecticut College on January 5th, when students weren't back yet, so we didn't have a crowd. So they'll need to fight against one of the largest attendances in the NESCAC tonight. Secondly, they need to stay out of foul trouble. They have several players, some of their best players, Regin, Cormier, and Johnson, all get into foul trouble pretty easily. They've lost a lot of games where Regin, Johnson, or Cormier have 4 or 5 fouls and aren't able to be utilized to their full power. And finally, they need to get offensive boards. The second best offensive rebounding team in the NESCAC, but they're facing the best defensive rebounding team in the NESCAC. And also Scott G. Messi, who is the best defensive rebounder in the NESCAC and best rebounder period in the NESCAC. So that'll be a real battle to watch today.
And now, despite their struggles away from home, Daniel, Jake just alluded to it, the Cardinals have some standout individuals who can really make tonight's game a competitive affair.
Yeah, there are plenty of bright spots on this roster, starting with no one else but Shane Reed, and their go-to guy leading the NESCAC right now in scoring with 19 points per game. Had a couple great games the past week with 31 against Hamilton and 29 against Middlebury. We'll see if he gets off to a hot start tonight. And then second, going to focus on Jackson Cormier for tonight's game, someone who can really bring the energy, someone who's going to change the pace of the game and crash those boards and make this really an intense battle down low.
And on the other end of the floor today, we have the Jumbos, who, after a pretty hot start to the season, came back down to earth for a little in the middle, but they're starting to pick some momentum back up. And as the playoffs approach, Jake, what do you think Coach Linton has in mind for tonight?
Well, first, he wants to make sure he gets the best out of his players. And James Marakis, one of their best players, third on the team in average scoring per game, had a bit of a rough weekend last weekend, only scoring 6 points combined between the Colby and Bowdoin games. So he'll need to have a big performance tonight in order to propel the Jumbos over the line here. Secondly, they need to contain the Wesleyan offense. They are the top scoring team in the NESCAC, have had 3 games this season where they've hit over 100 points, and they can score. So the Jumbos need to put good defense up to shut down this offense. And finally, we talked about it in the Wesleyan side, but dominating the paint. They have some big players, G. Messi, Bernstein, McLaren, Stewart, a bunch of players who are capable of getting those boards, but they're facing a team that's the worst three-point shooting team in the NESCAC, so the battle's going to be really inside the arc, so they'll have to dominate there.
And Daniel, Jake was talking about the star guards of the Wesleyan Cardinals, and the Jumbo backcourt is going to have a tall task ahead of them, slowing down Shane Regin and Jackson Cormier this evening. How do you think they're going to match up?
It's definitely a tall task. This is not going to be an easy matchup. Jake, you talked about James Marakis. I think he's going to be huge this game, especially in one way you can attack that backcourt is by playing him off the floor. So he's number 6 right now in the NESCAC in free throws drawn. If he can really just get 1 or 2 fouls early on Regin or Cormier or another starting guard for the Cardinals, that's going to be a huge to tilt that slide a little in Tufts' favor. And then another guard we can look at, Jay DeTurley, who had a huge couple of games, pouring in 13 against Colby and 19 against Bowdoin. That'll be against Bowdoin. That'll be something to look at again for this week.
Yeah, and another Wesleyan player I have my eye on as well is Mickey Johnson. He has been excellent all 3 years he's played at Wesleyan. He's got been the top assistant in NESCAC all 3 seasons he's been at Wesleyan, as well as being first team all NESCAC last season. He is the top assistant this season. Second is Shane Regin. So this team can put up assists. They love to pass the ball around, create opportunities for each other, and it's always fun to watch a team that's as coordinated as Wesleyan is.
Yeah, they play a great brand of basketball. Everyone's, the ball is fizzing around out there, and it's started off by the head of the snake, which is Mickey Johnson, who really just makes everything go for the Cardinals. Another matchup I want to look at is John Medley on the Tufts side versus the Star region. I consider Medley the best perimeter defender for the Jumbos. It'll be interesting to see if he's able to contain in region at all tonight.
And now great matchups all throughout the floor tonight. We're looking forward to that. We're going to take a short break for the national anthem, and we'll be back with your starting lineups.
At Athlete Ally, we believe in the power of sport to inspire.
And welcome back. Welcome again. As we're going right into starting lineups here, and for the Wesleyan Cardinals, a little bit of a change here. They're starting Nikki Johnson at the 1, Shane Regin, Jackson Cormier, Sam Pullman getting a start tonight, and Fritz Hauser is their big man in the middle. And for the home team, the Jumbos, they're going to go with their regular starting lineup. Jay DeTurley, James Maracas, Casey McLaren, Scott Jamesi, and big man Josh Bernstein manning the middle.
Yeah, and what stands out to me in this Wesleyan lineup, obviously we don't see Jared Langs in the middle there. He's been one of their best players this season. He has the most rebounds, averaging 5.9 per game, which is 11th in the NESCAC. So the curious thing is Hauser, who's 6'8", is one of the best three-point shooters on this Wesleyan team, and he'll be providing a different option than Langs offers. So that'll be really interesting to see if Wesleyan tries to operate further out from outside the arc, which they are the weakest three-point shooting team in the NESCAC. So I'm curious to see how that works out, but it's an interesting strategy for sure from Coach Riley.
Well, yeah, they don't even have to take that many threes. As long as Bernstein's getting pulled out of the middle, that opens the door for more offensive rebounds, which is obviously a strength of this Cardinals team, and that they're looking to exploit that.
And Jake, you said earlier, the game's going to be played in the paint, and pulling Bernstein out is definitely going to have an impact on that dynamic.
Certainly, and we also know that Bernstein does tend to get into foul trouble as well. So if he's in a situation where he's uncomfortable, there's more opportunities where he may commit an unnecessary foul, which is always beneficial to the Cardinals if the Jumbo star big man is in foul trouble.
Now we are getting ready to line up. We've got Hauser and Bernstein at midcourt ready to tip off in just a moment. Bernstein gets it back to McLaren. A little bit of a shaky start there, but we're settling in right with Maracas bringing it across the timeline. Now Turley puts it up, and just short there, out of bounds, Wesleyan ball.
The Jumbo's really trying to get to Turley the opportunity to have the ball to take threes. He was 4 for 5 last week from 3, and is someone who can be a threat from behind the arc. So while it didn't fall there, it's still a potent weapon for the Jumbos.
Now Shane Region with it, out to Hauser, stretching the floor a little bit, back to Region. Corner 3 just off the mark by a little there. Maracas brings it in. No. Jamesi thought about it, pulls it, wide right there. It goes to Pullman.
It's not every day you see Scott Jamesi pulling it for 3, but he has hit 3 in the season, so he can hit those, just rather rare.
And Pullman with a nice little take to the rim, an easy layup, putting Wesleyan on the board tonight.
Yeah, Pullman is a player that's not afraid to put it on the floor, especially off of cuts, off of their main ball handlers. He stays aggressive driving to the rim.
McLaren slashing. Little float. Good. 4-2.
It's been an unorthodox shot there from McLaren. He loves that corner 3, but instead choosing to fake it and then pull in and hit the floater. Well played from Casey McLaren.
And the lack of a big interior presence may have made that shot just a little easier to sneak it over the defender.
And the big man, Fritz Hauser there. Little Euro step, little guard-like drive into the middle, taking it right at Bernstein.
And Daniel, even with an interior presence there, he still hit that.
He's listed at 6'8", but he has feet like a guard.
Cormier, the athletic finish on the fast break. Wesleyan off to a little 6-2 start.
This game's already been dominated in the paint so far. We've seen all the shots from inside the perimeter except for Region and Turley's first 2 3-point misses. And all the points have been scored there. We talked about this pregame. This is going to be something we're going to be watching a lot today.
Yeah. Shot from Jamesi tipped out to McLaren. Maracas likes the matchup. Back out to McLaren deep. And they're going to reset with the Turley. Maracas and Bernstein, a little 2-man game, splits the defense. Nifty little finish there.
That was a nice adjustment to just kiss that one off the glass and a soft touch on the rim.
And Maracas noticed there as well that Bernstein would have pulled out, taking Hauser with him, leaving Johnson in the middle, who's 5'10", a matchup Maracas really likes to see.
Now both teams playing a little bit of a track meet here, up and down action. Region from the elbow.
Yeah, he's got a sweet mid-range game. That's where he does the most of his damage. He's going to get a lot of up fakes and a lot of jab steps. He's got a quick left to right cross. He just settles into a perfect pull-up.
Corner McLaren likes the look. Just a little bit short there. And going quickly. Nicky Johnson finding Sam Hauser, but not finishing the layup there. DeTurley quick to come back. Ref calls it tied up. Jump ball, Wesleyan ball.
You got to feel the Jumbos got lucky there on that last possession. We saw Hauser finding space, finding the Jumbos being a little bit lazy on defense there, not tracking back fast enough, but Hauser unable to convert the layup.
And checking in for the Jumbos just now is their star 6-man out of Philadelphia, Kai Champion, pressing the ball right now. And the Cardinals kick it back out to Pullman, working his way inside. Got a mismatch there, likes up and under. And a nice little finish there. Wesleyan doing a really great job of attacking the rim early.
Yeah, that was not an easy shot by Sam Pullman there to just find the other side of the rim with his left and sneak it over Bernstein's outstretched arms.
Bernstein likes the size mismatch. Tussling inside. Couple post moves, throwing the shoulders, putting it up.
And that's the first time we've really seen Bernstein use his size advantage in this game so far. He's the tallest player in the NESCAC. He is a big presence there, but we've seen really Wesleyan dominating the paint up until this point. But there, Bernstein able to put his head down, get the basket.
Cormier out to Johnson. Gets a step. Little float game. back iron and out to Deturley, who's pushing the pace, finds Jamesi, out to Champion, likes the shot, and just a little bit short there as it goes to Pullman.
You can see both teams pushing in transition, looking to give their offensive advantage against a defense that's not set just yet.
And a kick out to Cormier. Jamesi a little too ambitious on the closeout, and a foul, and will be side out Wesleyan.
We keep seeing Pullman getting this opportunity to take on Bernstein one-on-one, which is a really interesting matchup because of just his sheer size. I think Bernstein's got about 6 inches on him, but Pullman's got is a lot quicker, a lot more agile, and he's been able to get around him a few times, this time opting for the pass because Bernstein had him a bit more cut off that time, unable to get up to the basket. But that's a really interesting matchup to see.
Yeah, and with that matchup, Tufts is probably going to have to end up helping in the paint eventually, and it leaves other shooters open.
Now Bernstein may have disturbed Regent just a little bit on that jumper, who knocks Champion just enough to get the turnover.
It's really a beautiful pass there by Cormier. Just found the sneaking cutter baseline, but Regan couldn't finish that one off.
Deturley took it on the drive, tipped out by one of the Wesleyan players, as we have Bobby Stewart and freshman Dylan Riley checking in, and a couple possessions ago, John Medley, the freshman, very impressive player, also in the game.
And Daniel, in the pregame, you were talking about wanting to see Medley taking on Regent. We saw at the other end of the court last play that Medley was able to do enough to stop Regent from being able to get a layup. A matchup definitely we'll be watching closely for the rest of the game.
Now, Jamesi just a little short on the bank shot there. Goes to Pullman, who looks at Regent, takes it himself. Out to Jamesi, who's pushing the pace here. Riley on the wing, thinks about it, and gives it to Medley and Stewart, my apologies. And Medley off the mark a little bit there. Regent bringing it up. Likes the matchup. Riley gets a piece of that, and Stewart grabs the rebound. The Jumbos have numbers. They can push here a little bit. Champion. Stewart in the post. He likes to find a look out of here. Now the Jumbos are going to let Jamesi get to work on the low block. Out to Champion. Gets a step. Little lefty flip there.
Yeah, Nikki Johnson just shaded a bit too far to Champion's left there. Might have gambled for the ball as it came cross court from Jamesi, but that opened the driving lane, and Champion was able to slice through and finish at the cup.
Now trying to stop there, Nikki Johnson taking an extra step, turning it over.
Got the replay here of Champion's layup, and we see, yep, Johnson commits a bit too far to the left. Champion plays off it perfectly, able to convert off of it. And this Wesleyan team loves going for the steals. We've seen a lot. They've been trying to reach in, trying to get the ball. Right there, Cameron almost got it off Jamesi. And they have 3 players on the team with over 30 steals, and they're going to look for those turnover points throughout this game.
Yeah, as a team, they have a really high turnover margin, and that's just one of the ways that you get easy points for your team in transition.
Now Josh Cameron into the game now for the Wesleyan Cardinals, who pushes it up to Sam Pullman, who's setting up the offense here. To Regent. Pullman again. He's been doing some work early in this first half. And a foul on Bobby Stewart there on the drive. It'll be baseline out of bounds for the team in the red.
Yeah, Bobby Stewart just getting his hand caught in the cookie jar there.
Now Pullman went quick. Champion brings it down, has Riley on his right, decides to take it himself. A little trickery on the finish, not going to go there. Regent brings it down. An ambitious pass looking for Jared Langs, who normally starts at center for the Wesleyan Cardinals.
Yeah, he has came in here. Haven't seen too much from him so far. He's only been a few minutes since he's been in. But what I noticed there is Regent trying to find these passes. He's got He's the second best assister in the SCAC and really looks for those opportunities to create chances for his teammates. That one didn't pay off, but expect to see a lot more passes like that throughout this game.
Now to Langs. Josh Cameron takes a look, spins on Stewart, just short. Medley comes down with it, pressured a little bit, and that's too much contact, says the referee.
You wonder if Cameron there could have not spun. He had space to his left, but then he spun around back onto Bobby Stewart, which made it a lot harder shot. So spin looked really cool, but I'm not sure it was the best option there.
Yeah, sometimes as a player, you feel some help creeping up from the paint or something. It gets in your head, and you make an additional movement that just throws your shot off just a tiny bit.
Now, Champion had the little hesitation there after getting the handoff from Bobby Stewart and flips up the reverse, and we've got a tie ball game.
Yeah, he just has such a soft touch around the rim. He plays that one so nicely off the high part of the glass.
Now Pullman directing traffic, trying to get a set going. Cormier gets the handoff. And Region, this is the guy that they want with the ball. Crosses up, spins on Jamesi, bumped. Hauser from the mid-range, and Josh Cameron out of nowhere tipping it, getting another possession for the Cardinals. Pullman setting the offense once again. Hauser comes up, sets the screen. Pullman likes the look, finds Cormier. And Dylan Riley just had his hand right across Cormier there as he went up for the shot.
That was a really interesting possession there because we saw the Jumbos running the man defense. We know that they like the zone defense as well. It was really successful for them against Middlebury and against Williams a couple weeks ago when they were last here at Cousins. But in this case, opting for the man defense, which I thought it worked pretty well there. The Cardinals were definitely trying to isolate players and get matchups they wanted. Like we saw Hauser out on the three-point line with Stewart, but unable to get to fall. So this will be, again, another matchup. We're going to keep our eyes on how the Jumbos run their defense, how they try to slow down what the Cardinals have really tried to push in as much as they can.
Yeah, I think one thing we've seen from the Cardinals side a little bit so far is just a slight case of overpassing. I think there are shots there to be taken, and it's still early, still trying to get a feel for the game. But you hop into a man defense, you make those little passes just a tiny bit more difficult, and it throws off your rhythm of the offense.
And we were talking about this beforehand. They're a team that loves to pass. They love to get those opportunities for each other. They pass the ball a lot, lots of assists, but definitely can create some issues.
Dylan Riley there, getting open off of the down screen and pulling it with zero hesitation, giving Tufts the three-point lead and forcing the Wesleyan Cardinals to call a timeout.
Yeah, and I feel like when we talk about freshmen, we talk a lot about John Medley, but Dylan Riley has also been a great player for the Jumbos this season. He has been a consistent, second player on the court, third player on the court, comes on, does a great job, often hits those hits those important threes at certain parts of the game, giving the Jumbos the lead. Really big player for them, and will be a good one to watch in the future.
Yeah, and it took a while for him to find this shot playing with his new teammates here at Tufts. But as lately, he's really just become an absolute threat from behind the arc. You see there, he puts one down to force the timeout.
And just a couple weeks ago, he had another good shooting night, and he started off hot, Daniel.
In terms of some things we're going to be keeping our eye out for the rest of the season on this game has some pretty serious NESCAC implications. The Jumbos are hoping to get a home NESCAC playoff, but before they get there, they have to make the playoffs. And we're looking before the game. If they lose their next two games and things go a certain way, it is possible for the Jumbos not even to make the playoffs. Wesleyan, they have the tiebreaker over both teams there, tied with a 3-5, which is Colby and Hamilton. They beat both of them, including a double overtime thriller with Hamilton a couple weeks ago. So they're in a decent spot. Hamilton and Colby do play each other, so if they get one win this weekend, they play Tufts, and they also play Bates, who have yet to register and win the NESCAC so far. They'll be feeling pretty good about their playoff chances. So this important match, more for the Jumbos, but for both teams.
You can tell the importance of this matchup. The Jumbos coming out of the timeout in a full court press and forcing a travel, and they get the ball in enemy territory here.
That's freshman Ben Little there. And we're talking about the freshmen for the Jumbos, but a lot of pressure on freshmen as well, playing away, playing in a somewhat crowded Cousins gymnasium that you think maybe small mistakes can come out.
Champion sets up, finds Medley, overplayed a little bit by Cormier, goes up, takes the contact, and a late whistle there. John Medley's going to go to the free throw line for 2.
Yeah, you have these athletic guard or wings on the Wesleyan side, and one of the dangers is that you do get baited into kind of reaching for the ball all of the times. You can see there another overplay, and it puts a lot of pressure on your interior defense to recover.
The one thing I have been surprised by so far is I think that is one of Wesleyan's first fouls they've committed, and that is something that they'll be pretty happy about, to be honest, because we talked about going into this game. They do get into foul trouble. They do get into situations that they don't want to be in because players have fouls. That is their second foul. Hauser and Cameron each have 1, but Regent has none. Johnson has none. Pullman has none. That's a good sign for the Cardinals going forward if they can keep their players in this entire game. And speaking of keeping their players in this entire game, Regent plays a lot. He has the most minutes out of anyone in the NESCAC and is going to be playing as much of the game as Coach Riley can get of him. So having him outside of foul trouble will be really important for them.
A shade over 34 minutes a game for Shane Regent, who turns it over. A good hustle from Casey McLaren. Maracus takes all of the contact.
Wonder if there's been a commentator curse there, hyping up Regent only for him to have a turnover.
Mickey Johnson finds Regent.
And the reverse happens back as Regent gets the basket. So never know what really happens when we talk about players here.
Deturley will direct some traffic. Finds Maracus getting a pick from Bernstein. Looking for his guy there. Tipped by Hauser. And out to McLaren. Single digits on the shot clock. The Jumbos need to get moving just a little bit. Deturley finds Bernstein. A nice little spin move. Off back iron. Maracus right there, surrounded by red shirts and coming up with the ball, giving them a fresh shot clock to work with.
Great individual effort by Maracus to sky over Ben Little there for the board.
Now Casey McLaren, right off the catch, making a decision, driving 2 dribbles, takes all of the contacts, draws the whistle, and he's going to the line for 2.
It's been a real spread of points for the Jumbos tonight. They have 6 different players at points so far, at only 15 points so far in the game. No player has necessarily stood out, but every player has been doing their role, putting the job in, and that's a good sign if you want to get – you have a lot of players you can rely on to get points. Wesleyan on the other side also has spread out their points decently. They have 4 players with points, but Pullman's on 4, as is Regent.
McLaren, the 64% free throw shooter.
64% three-point shooter would be incredible. He's a very good three-point shooter, though. Credit to him.
We all dreamed of shooting 63% from 3. And Regent probing. Little floater goes for him, and that is.
Yeah, that's just too easy for a player of Regent's caliber. Just getting to that left hand and floating it in from about 4 to 5 feet. That's almost guaranteed.
Now Maracus lost the handle a little bit, gets it back. Dylan Riley probes, kicks it out. Maracus likes the look. Bang!
And Maracus gets it to fall, but I don't know if you saw there, Bernstein had the spin on Hauser and had a great opportunity. Riley chose to find Maracus, which ended up working, but a lot of options there for the Jumbos.
Now Regent taking it right into the teeth of the defense. Bernstein does a good job keeping his hands up, not fouling, and it's out of bounds off of Maracus for a baseline out of bounds for the Cardinals.
If Regent's playing 35 minutes a night, you got to wonder how sustainable it is for him to keep getting knocked to the ground. Like, that's got to hurt after, especially repeated times. This is the 4th or 5th time I've seen him hit the ground after going for one of those acrobatic layup attempts. So hopefully that's not a long-term stressor on him.
Now Deturley doing a really good job of closing out there onto Sam Pullman. Ball is out of bounds on him, and Josh Cameron checking back in, a phenomenal rebounder for the Cardinals.
Yeah, Josh Cameron is an interesting player. He's a 6'7" guard. He's got a lot of height. He's very athletic, and he takes long, long strides. He's an interesting player to watch.
Nicky Johnson firing from 3 and adding it to his scoreline.
And that is his first points tonight. A good sign for the Cardinals if he can get going. One of their best players, the player we talked about in the pregame. Really known for his assists, but definitely a point scorer as well.
Now Josh Cameron comes up with it, finds Johnson, pushes it ahead to Pullman. Tries to blow by for the layup. Off the mark a little bit, maybe some contact there. And Deturley settles it up at the top for the Jumbos.
Yeah, these are two physical teams, and part of this first half is just kind of feeling out what the refs are going to allow and what they're not going to let fly.
And Scott Jamesi, a little nifty around the defender pass, finds James Maracas with acres of space to nail the tray.
And we talked about, again, Maracas needs to get going today, and he has. That's his second 3 in the span of 2 or 3 minutes. He is on 8 points already tonight, and that's a great sign for the Jumbos.
And doing it on offense, doing it on defense, great denial there to force the turnover from the Cardinals. And he'll bring it up with Pullman guarding him. Now Deturley, top of the key, quickly to Bernstein. Tries to make a move, and out of bounds off of Bernstein. Good individual defense there from Fritz Hauser.
Yeah, Bernstein didn't really read the double team very well there. He kind of spun into the help. They were loaded up on his right side, and Cameron got a finger or a hand in there to just poke it loose.
Region makes a move, finds Cameron. 2 dribbles, in, up, and draws the foul on Bernstein. Got him up with a little bit of a pump fake there.
Yeah, that's Bernstein's first today. He is, like we mentioned as well, he is a player that does get into foul trouble. He can accumulate fouls a lot, so he'll want to try to avoid situations where he gets in that situation. But well played from Cameron to create the pump fake, to create a situation where Bernstein was a little confused as to when to jump.
Yeah, luckily for him, he did foul a 46.7% free throw shooter, so that one works out in the stat sheet.
And Cameron converts the second free throw there.
Another slight commentator curse there, but, 50% shooter, hit one of them, makes sense.
Now Bernstein goes quickly. Josh Cameron is there, says no thank you.
Cameron has been playing phenomenal defense on Bernstein his last couple plays. We saw it earlier, and now we saw it there, just really shutting down, not giving opportunities. And we curse him again as he loses the ball.
Cameron feeling himself maybe a little too much, trying to spin move, dribbling it off his foot and giving it right back to the Jumbos. And Deturley sets up deep. We're getting a little bit of two-man game. Maracas, Bernstein. Maracas likes it, takes a lot of contact, short off a front rim. Nicky Johnson, in trying to rebound the ball, tips it out of bounds.
And the Jumbos are doing well, but there's a name we have not seen in the score sheet so far that is really surprising. Scott Giamessi has 0 points so far this game. He does have 5 rebounds, so he is putting the work in. But as someone who's your top scorer, averaging 13 points per game, averaging a double-double per game as well, which is absurd, you expect to see a little bit more production on the offensive side from him.
Yeah, we saw that the other night. All 16 of his points coming in the second half. So maybe we're in for a repeat.
And Jackson Cormier on the help side rotation comes out of nowhere, sees Bobby Stewart going up for the shot, and just sends it right into the ball.
And Cormier, while a smaller player, does a lot in the paint. He gets a lot of rebounds. He's the 3rd highest rebounder on the team, and can also get up for those blocks like we just saw.
And Stewart there, no hesitation on a second effort, just got his shot blocked with all the confidence in the world, goes up again, draws a foul, and is at the line for 2.
Stewart shooting in .632 from the free throw line and hits the first one. And now Deturley and G. Messi, 2 players we highlighted, are the only 2 players from the Jumbos who have played a minute who have yet to score a point. If you were to tell me that pregame that Turley and G. Messi would not have any points 15 minutes into the game and the Jumbos would be winning, I would be shocked. But that's how it is right now. Maracas has stepped up big. We've seen other players really come in and fill those voids. And G. Messi gets on the board, finally.
Pullman will set up the offense for the Cardinals. And that's Regent probing around over McLaren. And Pullman comes up with the offensive rebound. Josh Cameron likes the midi. Way off there, off of glass and no rim. DeTurley comes up with it and brings it back the other way. Now Stewart, top of the key, out to DeTurley. Stewart likes to pass from this high post area, finds Jamesi on the block. Josh Cameron again reaching around and poking the ball out of bounds.
Yeah, if a good matchup for Scott Jamesi ever did exist, it would be someone who was built like Josh Cameron.
Certainly, but Josh Cameron has been phenomenal on the defensive side so far this game. So on paper, it may seem like a good matchup, but it hasn't looked like one so far this game.
Now Maracas has to get it up in a hurry.
And that is not a good shot to take. Of course, he had to take it with the way the shot clock was going, but that's a really, really tough shot to hit. Off balance, getting around the screen as he jumps up. If he had hit that, that would have been incredible.
Feeling it early in this game, Maracas maybe a little bit of a forced heat check there. Not going to quite fall for him.
Other than that, he's had quite a few bright spots to choose from. He's been aggressive driving to the hoop, and then he's been good at relocating when someone else has the ball and moving from behind the arc to get up 2 3-point shots here in this first half to give the Jumbos a nice little 8-point lead.
I'm looking at the stats of these first half. One stat I'm surprised is that Wesleyan Cardinals only have 3 steals in the half. It feels like it's been a lot more. They've been putting so much pressure on the Jumbos when they have the ball. We've seen Cormier has a steal, Johnson has a steal, and Hauser has a steal. But I swear Cameron got a steal at some point. It feels like how much they're putting pressure on the ball, how much they're making it so hard for the Jumbos to control the ball and be comfortable on the ball is creating this tension, maybe forcing that shot clock violation there, and just creating opportunities for them to get fast break points to make it so the Jumbos just can't really settle in when they're on offense.
Yeah, that's just the type of thing you're not going to necessarily see in the stat sheet all the time, but you can definitely feel it and see it happening as you watch this offense adapts to a variety of different fronts.
Now the Jumbos coming back out on defense again in a full court press after a timeout. Champion pressuring Nikki Johnson all the way up the floor. Now Pullman running through. Now Johnson dribbling a little bit. Pullman takes it, kicks out. Cormier, 3, and it's good.
And there's those assists we talk about for the Wesleyan team. They love to set up opportunities to get the ball moving a lot. And surprisingly, they only have 3 assists on the night tonight, but that was a big one there from Pullman.
And a beauty of a pass from Sam Pullman.
Turley, quick trigger. It's true.
And with that, every Jumbo who has played a minute has points. DeTurley able to get on the board, and a welcome sight again for Jumbo's fans after what a weekend he had last weekend.
Sharing the love here, both sides of the ball. Pullman probing over DeTurley with the right hand. Goes long, DeTurley corrals it in and is going to walk it up the floor. Jamesi up high, looking for a cutter, doesn't have it, finds DeTurley. 2-man game. Short roll. And a beautiful kick out to Champion, who just goes a little bit long there. Jamesi contesting the rebound, but out of bounds, and it's Wesleyan ball.
And we're talking about assists on the Wesleyan side, but there, Scott Jamesi, top assister for the Jumbos, and finding an excellent pass to Kai Champion Doesn't count as assist because obviously the ball didn't go in, but still an excellent passer and definitely an underrated aspect of his game.
Yeah, you see the double-doubles with the rebounds, but you forget about his offensive creation.
Region falling down, finds the cutting Pullman for an easy 2. And now Stewart at the top of the key finds Champion. DeTurley out to Stewart, cutting in, good pass from, and Cormier again!
DeTurley calling for goaltending there, but it's definitely a tight one as the Jumbos continue their offense.
And rimming in, not someone that you see making threes every time, Scott Jamesi.
Always fun when he hits a 3. That's his 4th 3-pointer this season on 15 attempts. Love it when he pulls up from the line.
Now Hauser tries his hand at responding, saying, but missing long just a little bit there. Out to Region, crosses left. Pullman. Cormier gets the step. Medley pressuring.
That was great individual defense, and he kicks it ahead for Champion.
And a great run out from Champion, just scuffing the layup a little bit there on the fast break, but the Jumbos retain possession on the baseline. And Josh Bernstein checks in for Bobby Stewart.
And that's really a layup you expect Champion to hit most of the time. Unfortunately, the Jumbos, Coach Linton calls a timeout. Minute 48 left in the half.
And I thought on the previous possession, the Cardinals actually looks pretty good, moving the ball quite a bit from side to side. I thought Nicky Johnson might have had a look, but it seems like he hesitated, and that allowed Medley to get back into the play and then create that opportunity for Champion down the floor.
And look at that last possession. If you were to tell me that Fritz Hauser and Scott Jamesi each took a 3, one of them made it, one of them missed, I would not have guessed that way around. Hauser's the best 3-point shooter for the Cardinals, hitting it at a .357 clip, which is pretty solid. And he's also 6'8", plays in the paint, but that weaponry he has from behind the line, from outside the arc, really is a good weapon for the Cardinals to have. Unable to hit it in that last possession, but definitely a player who can put those 3-pointers up.
Now a box formation for the Jumbos out of the timeout. Medley in the corner. Takes it up. DeTurley gets the screen from Bernstein. Did a great job blocking the defender there, but just short from DeTurley.
And Johnson on the rebound there. He actually has 2 double-doubles in the season for a 5'10" player. It's pretty phenomenal.
And Pullman likes the matchup on Bernstein. Kicks it out. Cormier in the short corner. Finds Region. Now resets back out to Johnson. Gonna do a pick and roll with Hauser. Spins inside. A little bit to the left of Pullman and misses short. Jamesi comes up with it.
There was just nothing there that entire possession. Excellent closeout at the end to force a heave from the Cardinals.
And Jamesi's already on 7 rebounds for this half alone. He has, while maybe not produced as much from offensively as we'd expect from him, he has really stepped up in getting those rebounds, getting the support for his teammates. Really a full team effort from the Jumbos, creating opportunities even if he's not scoring.
No. Shot clock running out. Jamesi with the little reverse. Great feed from DeTurley, finding him cutting on the baseline.
And sometimes he does score like that. And Jamesi's also now on 7 points in the game. So he may have started off a bit slow, but he has now worked up quite a scoring run in his last few minutes.
And Johnson going to run out the clock as much as he can to close out this half. And now dancing on Champion, gets the step, tries to kick it back out to Hauser, goes off Champion's foot.
May have actually been kicked out by Champion. The refs are going to consult about that.
And the refs, I believe, are...
McLaren very eager to get back in the game. And it looks like 6 players in the court right now for the Jumbos. Still 6 players. And Champion checks off.
There we go.
Now the Cardinals have around just a hair less than 10 seconds to get a shot off here. They want to get a good one. Johnson controlling the floor. Crosses in. Hauser, top of the key. And off the glass to end the first half and bring it down to an 8-point game.
We just talked about Hauser's three-point ability. Shows it off there to end off the half. That's a big momentum boost for the Cardinals going into that halftime locker room, knowing they just got this three-point, not necessarily a buzzer beater, but essentially a buzzer beater, to give them more momentum to really bring the game to the Jumbos in the second half.
And the Hauser name has quite the legacy in the city of Boston when it comes to three-point shooting, Daniel.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe he's got a connection to our fan favorite Sam Hauser, who suits up in the green and gold every now and then. But yeah, that a shot like that, it brings the lead back down to single digits. Just makes it more manageable going into the second half. Wesleyan is a team that sometimes starts a little slow and then picks up, so that's actually very important.
And Wesleyan always keeps games tight. All of their NESCAC losses this season have been under 10 points, and it's going to be a really interesting game to watch in the second half.
And the Cardinals picking up just a little bit of momentum there at the end of the half. Halftime score, Jumbos 34, Cardinals 26. We'll be back after the halftime show, after halftime for the second half.
At Athlete Ally, we believe in the power of sport to inspire us and to bring us together across divides. Joining together with student athletes, professional athletes, and beyond, we work to build spaces where every athlete is safe, welcomed, and included. When we all stand for equality, we can create a world where all LGBTQ athletes can thrive. Donate today.
Throughout last year, you're the Jumbo's most efficient shooter, largely a factor of your ability to consistently get to the rim. How does your mentality and shot selection make you such an offensive weapon?
I think it's just about trusting the work that I put in over the years and, just playing basketball all my life.
Who's the hardest person on your team to defend?
Josh Bernstein.
Why?
He's just too tall.
Too tall? You can't just, make him shoot?
He's just too big.
Too big?
At times.
All right, so you're the oldest member of the team, having taken your COVID year. What went into that decision?
Yeah, sure. I think I definitely just wanted to get 4 years out of my college experience here. Basketball has always been such a big part of my life, and to only get 3 years and have one of those years be doing school online, it would have just been a shame, to be honest. And overall, I'm just so excited that I made this decision. It's been a great year so far, and we're only getting started.
Awesome. So you're the only remaining member from the 2019-20 team that won the NESCAC title. How does that feeling of responsibility kind of weigh on you, knowing that you know what it takes to get to the top of the NESCAC?
Yeah, that was a great year. I think the goal every year is to come in and win a NESCAC. There's things that need to happen before then, and I know Coach will have us right. But at the end of the day, we just need to show up and show out.
All right. Can you walk us through your favorite shot to take during a game?
I got to go with the wide open corner three. I think that one fires up my teammates. They like to call me corner office, and so I'll embrace that.
All right, Josh. So you are both the tallest player in the NESCAC this year, as well as the tallest jumbo in the last decade. How does that height advantage help you on each end of the floor, both offense and defense?
I think it plays a pretty big role. I think in the NESCAC, there's some big guys on every team. And I think especially playing these early games when there's not as big of guys, not as big of centers, I think it plays a really big role. We're able to play inside and out pretty well, especially when we're playing two bigs. I don't think a lot of teams have that kind of size. So I think on the offensive end and the defensive end, it's just really hard to scout against a team that has size at the 5, the 4, and the 3.
What are your personal goals this year in terms of your play?
I think the number one goal for me coming in this year is I want to be known as the best decision maker on the team. I want to, and the best decision maker I can be. I want every time I make a decision it to be the best decision possible.
All right. Who's been the most influential person in your basketball journey?
The most influential person, I probably have two people. I think my high school coach. I started playing basketball sophomore year of high school. I went to boarding school in Western Mass for school only and got lucked out with a basketball coach that kind of took me under his wing and taught me how to play, which is why I'm here. And I think without him, I wouldn't really be here. So shout out to Coach DeFalto. And then second, I think the senior big from last year, Chris Bortz, I think he had a huge impact on my love for the game. You know, there's one thing to play it and there's another thing to love it. And I think Chris Bortz really helped me love basketball. So shout out to Chris in law school in Texas.
Can you talk us a little bit about what went into your decision to come to Tufts?
Coach Linton was honestly early compared to other schools recruiting me. I visited here 3 times before I even made my commitment, so I already felt comfortable. And the high academics that Tufts has really was a boost for me because my family has always been about academics first. So it was pretty easy for me to make the decision to come here.
All right. Let's go rapid fire. 3 things you can't live without.
3 things I can't live without: apple juice, the best beverage on earth, my phone, and my PlayStation.
So, Dylan, I guess the first question I have for you is, obviously, as a freshman, it's a big adjustment coming to Tufts. So I guess just how has it been the first 6 weeks here on campus?
It's been a bit of an adjustment. You know, hanging out with the guys has been great. Getting in the gym with them, in the weight room. Team chemistry is already building. So I love my guys. I'm excited to get on the court with them on Sunday for the first practice, and then just hit the ground running and win some games.
You've earned NESCAC all-academic honors each of the last 2 years. How do you manage being a star basketball player and being a star student?
It's definitely a time balance thing, but my parents have always stressed the importance of academics, so always put that stuff forward, and then whatever time after that is dedicated to basketball. So I got a pretty good balance going on right now.
All right. Can you walk us through your favorite shot to take during a game?
Favorite shot to take during the game? Definitely anything off the dribble for 3. That usually gets the crowd going a little bit, the teammate going a little bit. It's a shot to get the team going, so definitely anything off the dribble from 3.
All right, and last one for you. Which NBA player could you take one-on-one?
I'm going to disrespect some of my Chicago Bulls teammate fans, but pretty much any of them because they're the worst team in the NBA, so make sure you put that in for them.
So, Sydney, there any fruits you happen to be afraid of?
As a matter of fact, yes, I am deathly scared and allergic to bananas. Don't come near me with them. Don't bring them in my presence. If I smell it, I'm a yak. And if I touch it, I have to wash my hands. So that's that.
All right, so obviously you come from Arizona. Coming from Arizona to Medford, it's a bit of a big weather adjustment. So how was your first year and a half living in cold weather?
I don't like it at all. The key is to just bundle up. I'm definitely more of a 105 versus a 35 guy. So just put a lot of clothes on. They laugh at me, but I've already brought out the puffer and the parka, and it hasn't even hit 40s yet.
So what's going to happen when it goes below 0 like last year?
Stay inside unless you have to be outside. So a lot of ordered food, a lot of time in the gym or in the dining hall in my room.
Awesome. So I guess it's been 6 weeks on campus now. How is the adjustment to living here, Ben?
It's been good. It's been pretty easy. I haven't gotten homesick or anything. Everything was settled in nicely. It kind of feels like home now. Feels like I've been here for forever. So yeah.
All right. What sport would you be playing if it wasn't basketball?
I think I'd have to say soccer. I played in middle school. I was like a striker. I would just run and score goals, and I just still love soccer a lot. So it'd probably be soccer.
So, Jackson, you're on the e-board of the new Student Athlete Advisory Committee. Can you talk a little bit about the work that organization is doing and its mission?
For sure, yeah. So our big thing is to connect the student athlete body with the athletic department administration and kind of through various charitable initiatives. So for me, I'm the committee chair for Play for Pink, which runs throughout the month of October supporting Living Beyond Breast Cancer, which is a great charity. And we've done a couple different things with that. We had made warm-ups for a bunch of different teams. We've raised over $16,000 so far across all the different teams, which is great. Hoping to get to 30,000 by the end of the month. So that's been something that I've really loved doing, and happy to keep doing it.
All right. Who's been the most influential person in your basketball journey?
Obviously my parents, just because they supported me. But aside from that, I'd have to say my youth coach from New York City. He taught me how to play the game, IQ, and he taught me the ability to be coached under pressure and take criticism.
And last question for you. What's your favorite post-win locker room song?
Post-win locker room song. That's a good one. I'd probably have to say "Win" by J-Rock.
So obviously, we had 4 guards who played more than 500 minutes graduate. So what does that put in terms of pressure on you, knowing there's an opportunity to really step up and earn a bigger role this year?
Yeah, I mean, we had a great group of guys last year graduate, super talented, great leaders, and great teammates. So obviously, it stinks to not have them here anymore, but like you said, it opens up a role. So, I mean, that's just for all of us as a team, like this summer, that's motivation. You know, there's minutes to be had, and this fall, like everyone's working super hard to try and get themselves a foot in the door.
3 things you cannot live without.
Ooh, I'm going to go Chick-fil-A, my dog, and my friends.
Solid top 3. In your bio on the Tufts Jumbos website, you talk about meeting the other recruits as a big part of the decision to come here. Can you talk a little bit about the relationship between you and your teammates?
Yeah, I'd say it's almost too close. I spend a lot of time with those guys. We practically speak the same language at this point, but I love them.
Welcome back to Medford, Massachusetts. We're here for some NESCAC men's basketball action, and a high-paced first half sees the Jumbos up 34-26 against the Wesleyan Cardinals. A lot of good ball movement, some unexpected contributors, and a competitive Friday night game. Daniel, what stood out to you from the first half?
Yeah, one thing that kind of went under the radar on the first half is that Tufts is currently leading the bench scoring battle 10-1. So that's a significant 9-point margin right there. Getting points from Medley, Champion, Stewart, and Riley just first the one free throw from Cameron. So we'll see if that continues as the game goes on. But that's a margin that you can't have if you want to win the game.
And we've got an exciting second half coming up. And this is one of the last games in the regular season for both of these teams. And it's a meaningful one, too. There are a ton of other NESCAC games going on concurrently. Jake, tell us about what the playoff picture looks like right now.
So we mentioned earlier how it would work out for the Jumbos to not make the playoffs, but let's talk about how the Jumbos can get a home game here in Cousins next week, which, I don't know about you, but it'd be really fun to have some more basketball here in Cousins. So currently, Tufts is tied with Amherst for being 4-4 in the NESCAC. They each have 2 more games to play. Middlebury is 5-4 and is playing tonight as well. So Middlebury is currently in that 4 spot, Amherst in the 5 spot, Tufts in the 6 spot. Right now, Amherst is beating Colby 40-33. Tufts, obviously, is beating Wesleyan 34-26. Connecticut College is beating Middlebury 37-34. The Jumbos have the tiebreaker over Middlebury, do not over Amherst. So their goal is to get into a spot where they're tied either with all Middlebury, Amherst, and them, because then they win the mini league between the three of them, or a situation where they are ahead of Amherst. Doesn't matter what happens to Middlebury at that point. So for that to happen, Amherst needs to lose one of their next two games, either tonight to Colby or tomorrow to Bowdoin, which Bowdoin only has one win this season. That's against the 0-win NESCAC team, Bates. I don't have much faith that Amherst will not win that game as Bowdoin, so this Colby game is a crucial one. And the fact that Amherst is up by 7, which, as we know, is not a massive deficit. Colby definitely can come from behind, but not great results for the Jumbo's chances. Now looking at the Wesleyan side, we know that they are tied with Colby and Hamilton. Hamilton currently beating Bowdoin 30-23 at halftime, and Colby obviously losing to Amherst. So Colby losing is a good stat for the Cardinals as well. The other game that we didn't mention, Trinity is currently down a point to Bates, which is a pretty surprising result right there.
And Jake, thank you for doing all the math there. I do enough of that in school, did not want to do any more. And we'll kick off the second half as Maracas brings it across the timeline. Nikki Johnson pressuring just a little bit there, goes cross-court to Deturley. Jamesi in the corner, thinks about it. Back up top to Bernstein. Maracas going to handle it. Deturley comes off the screen. Bernstein going to settle it. Looks for a cutter. Hands it off. Maracas going to go. 9 seconds on the shot clock. Jamesi spins, falls. Bernstein gets it. It's a lot of a mess. And Cormier comes up with it, and an easy slam to open up the second half.
Cormier has been a menace above the rim, really acting as a rim protector. That's why you don't need Langs out there for the height, because Cormier has been cleaning up for his out perimeter defenders, and another block on the night.
That's his third of the night. Rewarded as well with a nice dunk on the other side of the court.
You know, Bernstein using that length, trying to tip the rebound out, but tips it out of bounds.
And Cormier only at 6'4", still very tall, but not quite a player you expect to be going up for those blocks for the situations. Like the Jumbos, their most blocked player is Bernstein with 40, which is an absurd count. But he's still got those hops. He can get up there. He can create issues in the net, the rim, as well as dunk. Quite an impressive showing from him.
Yeah, he plays above the rim. You know, he plays with an intensity, he plays with a drive, and he's incredibly explosive, and we saw it on display.
And Bernstein gets the entry pass from Scott Jamesi, does a little, takes it over, under, and into the rim. And Nikki Johnson directing some traffic, finds Region, who's been a little bit quiet tonight. Swings it up, Hauser, another three from the top of the key, just off.
Cormier again disrupting there in the rebound. Ball ends up going to the Jumbos after Cormier hits it out, but still that rim presence that we're seeing has really shown in the second half.
There's just been no easy rebounds yet in this game, I don't think. Every time a ball hits the rim, there's at least two players fighting for it.
And for the Cardinals, the freshman from the Bronx, who's made quite the impact on the defensive end, Josh Cameron. And Maracas brings it across the timeline. Finds Deturley cutting across. Bernstein comes up, sets him a pick. A pass over the defender and out of bounds. Deturley looking for a Bernstein there on the roll.
This is really an interesting matchup. They're playing quite small, Wesleyan is right now, with Cameron sort of their de facto 5 matching up against Bernstein. He's strong. We'll see if he's able to hold up inside, but yeah, something to watch going forward.
Cameron's also listed as a guard, so that means they'd have 5 guards in the court at the moment, which against a team as big as Tufts is really an interesting take.
Now, Johnson, he can shoot it, doesn't make it that time. Deturley comes up with it. Dances around the Bernstein screen, gets a solid pick from Jamesi. It's tipped. Cormier once again. Johnson's running with him, takes it himself. And right into the back iron, grabs the rebound, bounces around the rim, and just dribbles out. Maracas comes up with it. McLaren on the right wing, takes the contact, spinning, and a foul called. And McLaren will go to the line for 2.
It's definitely a tight to see if whether he was in the shooting motion there as he was fouled. Refs are going to give it to him, but
When you're a team that focuses heavily on offensive rebounding like the Cardinals do, you open yourself up for quick transition points, and you really have to recover well in the defense. And Jamesi was able to just be a step quicker there and drew the foul. McLaren, rather.
McLaren is around a 64% free throw shooter. Sorry, I made that mistake again. Just rimming out on the first free throw. And gents, we might have to stop talking percentages because we seem to be cursing it just a little bit there.
It's been pretty consistent in this game where we talk about a percentage, it doesn't play out in the manner that we expect it to, as McLaren hits his second free throw.
Now Johnson trying to set up the offense. Jumbo's in a bit of a zone look here. Region probing, a little bit stuck, no dribble. Johnson, quick jab step into the heart of the defense, kicks out to Region, and that's not a guy you want to get going as he tickles the twine.
That's Region's first 3 of the night, and he's already on almost double digits, which he has hit double digits in every game this season. And 1 point off of that now, I would not be surprised if he hits it again tonight.
And now Murak is harassed a little bit by Pullman, passes it to no one, right to Josh Cameron. Region has that opportunity for double digits. Patient kicks it back out. And Mickey Johnson nails it from 3.
Quick little 6-point swing from the 2 star players for the Cardinals, bringing it down to a 3-point lead.
And I wouldn't be surprised if Coach Linton chooses to call a timeout soon with how much the momentum feels like it's in the Cardinals' favor right now. You can feel right now they're hyped. They're feeling good. And they've just had 2 of their star players hit big threes. It feels like they need a energy shift. And I wonder if Kai Champion and John Medley coming on right now can provide that energy shift. We've seen them be really important players down the stretch, the Jumbos. In that Williams game a couple weeks ago, they were crucial in those final minutes, hitting really important shots to keep the Jumbos alive and get that win. So some welcome faces to come onto the court at this point in the game.
And Jamesi, the rock in the heart of the solid rock that the Jumbo's offense is built off of, taking it himself, settling some of that momentum created by the Cardinals. Hauser goes right back at Jamesi, spins around a little bit, goes to Johnson in the lane. And
we talked about Cormier's blocks there, but Medley got a block on Johnson.
Champion looking to do work in the corner. Bernstein has the size, drops the shoulder, and called for an offensive foul. And I believe Coach Linton got a technical foul there too. Not happy with the call.
As Coach Litton's pen cap is taking a beating right now. I'm not happy with that one.
Just saw the replay of that one, and I don't know, Coach Linton may have some right to complain about that one. There was a lot of contact, but definitely didn't seem like a charge to me. So I think the refs may have gotten it wrong there.
You see Bernstein lowering the shoulder. That may have been the incriminating motion there. And the Cardinals with building up a little bit of momentum early in the second half, and it's only growing.
Seen the Jumbo's lead of 8 at halftime reduced to 4, and 7 straight points. Not 7 straight points, sorry. 7-2 run for the Cardinals in the last little bit.
Yeah, so far that lineup we pointed out earlier seems to be working fairly well in that favor. They do have Hauser back in the game to have some size, but Josh Cameron is providing some good energy.
Now in a full court press now, the Jumbos. Pullman is bringing it up. Looking to continue this run to start the second half. Pullman probing, finds Region back out to Hauser in the corner, and he can shoot that thing.
The ball finding its way all around the perimeter, finding every Wesleyan player there, and it ends up with a Hauser 3.
And suddenly this is a 1-point game as the Cardinals have really pulled themselves back into this. They've had a lot of energy in the second half. They've come in with a lot of heart, and it feels like they're... And another foul goes against the Jumbos. Moving screen call, I believe. So, looks like no timeout from Coach Linton. I'm surprised about that. It feels like now is the time, if any, to slow this game down, take a look at it again, and just try to settle Wesleyan down here.
Bernstein yet again the culprit of an offensive foul that ends a Jumbo possession.
Yeah, one way to kind of settle the team down is to call a timeout. Another is to get a veteran in there and Bobby Stewart and see if he can just do his part to kind of calm their nerves.
Along with that, Bernstein is on 3 fouls, so Coach Linton wanting to try to save his big man.
Now Johnson, surrounded by white shirts, finds Hauser, tracks back out to the three-point line, dances on Champion, little half spin. Champion doing a good job, up and under, and Nicky Johnson feeling himself there, doing it all himself, pulling out the bag of tricks.
A dizzying array of moves pulled out there by Johnson. I think Kai Champion was off his feet at least 3 times as Johnson pirouetted for the score.
Johnson, one of the Cardinals' best players, and I felt like he had a pretty quiet first half, but he has really found his footing in the second half. Several assists and a three-pointer, an incredible cheeky little layup he got there. Just really impressive showing from the junior.
Now Johnson with the ball once again, directing traffic. Taking Champion on. He seems to like this matchup. Finds Pullman cutting on the baseline. Stewart's there to cover. And Pullman one-on-one with DeTurley. Drops his man. And nothing but net. And the Cardinals are feeling it. A huge run to start the second half. And they're up 3 on the Jumbos.
Coach Linton calling the timeout after a really disastrous stretch of play for the Jumbos as the Cardinals just look better. They're passing better. They're playing better defense. They're hitting their shots. And really, you feel like this is a stretch of play that the Jumbos need to get out of. They need to find an opportunity to slow this game down, to calm things out, to hit a shot or two, to create an opportunity to get some momentum back on their side.
Yeah, the Cardinals are doing it from the outside right now. I think almost all, if not all of those points are coming from at least 3-pointers or mid-range shots. So the Jumbos are going to have to adjust defensively to see if they can take that away.
And we're talking earlier about Cameron as a freshman having a great step into this team. And this whole Wesleyan team is very young. None of the players who have had a big impact tonight have been seniors. Jumbos also have a pretty young team. McLaren and DeTurley, the only seniors on the team who both are key contributors, but I feel like this will be an interesting matchup for years to come with how young these squads are.
And now the Cardinals can definitely keep a game close, and they're doing just that here in the second half.
Really anyone's game at this point, as I think it really comes down to the effects of a minute or two. What do we see from the Jumbos? They come out with energy, with excitement, really wanting to take this game as their own and end off this streak of hotness from the Cardinals, or are the Cardinals going to keep going and take this game a little bit further away, pull ahead a bit, and create a really undesirable situation for the Jumbos?
Yeah, one thing we made note of going into the halftime break was that sometimes Wesleyan starts slow and then picks it up in the second half, and we are seeing that come to a fruition right now.
No, Medley puts Johnson in jail, likes the long 2. It's pure. And stopping some of that bleeding for the Jumbos right there. Pullman hurries it up, gets the cross, gets the step on Riley. Hauser finds Johnson, top of the key. A little bit too excited there. Called for the travel, and it's going the other way.
And Hauser had region there in the corner. If he had just looked to his left, that would have been an easy 3-point look for their leading scorer.
And that 1-2 of first a Medley hit jumper and then this travel really could shift this momentum back, because that's 2 plays that will be demoralizing for the Wesleyan and exciting for Tufts. And another one as well as Medley hits the layup. So you feel like Coach Linton said something to the Jumbo team, and now they're coming in with more energy, which I'm excited about because it means it's going to be a much more exciting game for these next few minutes.
No, the Jumbos needed someone to stop the run, and Medley said, "I'm your guy." 2 straight buckets to give the lead back to the Tufts University basketball team.
Freshman contributors, Medley is also a freshman and has been extremely impressive for the Jumbos this season.
And he's got a good height advantage right now, and Nicky Johnson is kind of abusing that a little bit.
Now Johnson bringing it up. Has the matchup with Medley. Region thinks about it. Champion cuts that off. Pullman going to slow it down a little bit. Now Cameron at the top of the key finds Pullman. Champion guarding him. Pullman trying to pull out the moves. Champion, good defense, staying on the ground, gets the turnover. Jamesi going the other way. Little Euro kicks out. Dylan Riley, Champion, wing. And it's punch after punch after punch. The Jumbos coming right back after a disastrous start to the second half and building back up a 4-point lead.
And with that, we see Coach Riley, the Cardinals, calling his own timeout as the momentum has completely shifted. The big three there from Champion coming off of a great play from Jamesi to draw defenders in and then dish it back out wide to Riley, who found Champion for the three. Love to see that type of ball distribution that we often see from the Cardinals. Great to see from Jumbos as well.
Yeah, Scott Jamesi giving the Cardinals a little taste of their own medicine there with the kick and then the tray from Champion.
Now Champion, a microwave scorer coming up in a big moment when the Jumbos needed a bucket.
And Champion's been relatively quiet this game for the Jumbos. He is a player who can really come in big moments and put a lot of points on the board. He does have 7 points in the game, but it feels like he hasn't necessarily had the impact we expect from him normally. But with that three, I think that there is just the impact we expect from him. He's coming in, changing the momentum, and providing a massive 3 points to the Jumbos. Interestingly, no player on Tufts has hit double digits yet. Lots of players on 8, 7, 9, 6 points. Wesleyan, on the other hand, has 4 players all of their starting 5 are putting up points, 7, 8, 8, 10, 8, with Region sitting on 10, the player we expected to put a lot up today. But it's been a real well distributed across that starting 5, but then it drops off. Only 1 point outside the starting 5 with that one free throw from Cameron.
And Coach Linton finding a little bit of momentum with this squad that he has out there. Medley, Champion, Jamesi, Riley, and Stewart. And for the Cardinals, Nikki Johnson's going to look to try and get a bucket here. Now Region gets the screen from Cameron. Going to work it twice, splits the defense, takes all the contact, and it doesn't matter.
And there's the impact from their star man. Coming in, he hasn't had the biggest game so far. I mean, obviously he's their top scorer. We got the replay here as he beats Stewart and then really plays off of Champion well there. He's been going to the ground a lot, gets the call on this one, and just an impressive play from Shane Region.
Yeah, and that's that quick left to right cross I mentioned earlier. It's just, in the blink of an eye, you'll miss it. He splits the defense, and then he's able to just hang in the air and kisses it off the glass.
And after a quiet first half, Region with 13 points on the board as Medley works it in. Stewart, Jamesi's there to clean up the mess, finds Champion corner. Can he go 2 in a row? No, just a little bit short, and it falls to Cormier.
The Jumbos might have found something here in this John Early's role as a creator right now. He's really getting them good quality looks, and if Stewart could have finished that, there would have been another nice couple of points created on that pick and roll.
And Region dribbles it off his foot. It's going to be jumbo ball, and Maracus is coming in for relief of Dylan Riley. And for the Cardinals, they're going to get a little bit of size in. Jared Langs is trekking in for Fritz Hauser.
Jamesi up to 10 boards on the night, including 3 offensive rebounds. We talked about in the pregame how offensive rebounds are going to be so crucial in this game. And while they didn't end up getting points off of those offensive rebounds, it just creates more chances for them to get shots. He's not going to get the 3 there, but creates more chances, creates more opportunities for his teammates like Kai Champion, who are so prolific from the 3, to get looks, to get opportunities to shoot.
Now Johnson gets low, finds Cormier in the corner. Champion catches his arm on the catch of the pass.
And with the exception of Bernstein, we haven't seen players get into too much foul trouble so far. That is Champion's second, but at this point in the game, 2 fouls is not necessarily something that a team would be too alarmed about. 2 fouls is the most on any player on Wesleyan, so not really been a factor in this game as much as we expected.
And the Jumbos making some changes, returning to their starting lineup, except you have John Medley in on the ball here for Casey McLaren. And Josh Cameron with a nifty little dime to Jared Langs.
Scott Messi is off the court at this point, getting a deserved break for his really putting in all of the effort for the Jumbos at this point, trying to create everything on their offensive side.
And now the hedge a little too ambitious there from Langs, catching Maracas, and it's going to be a foul on him. Pullman coming in for Nikki Johnson, who has been phenomenal in the second half for the Cardinals. Now DeTurley side out, finds Maracas, had the position on his man, and it's going to be jump ball. Region doing a good job to tie him up there.
Yeah, and we don't generally talk about Region on the defensive end, but it was a great defensive play there from him to spot that Maracas wasn't that confident as he turned and able to get a turnover.
Now Pullman crosses the timeline. We got just under 10 minutes left here in this second half. Maracas on the ball. And now Cormier comes off the screen, and an offensive foul, I believe, on Jared Langs as he was setting the off-ball screen to free up Cormier. And it's Jumbo's ball.
Yeah, we've seen similar issues on Tufts and then now Wesleyan with their bigger guys getting called for moving screens. Just sometimes the footwork is a bit of an issue when you get on the perimeter.
That's a really costly foul as well. In a game as close as this, giving away fouls like that don't really have much impact aside from just losing possession of the play is really unfortunate.
Now DeTurley slips out of his hand right to Josh Cameron, takes it himself. McLaren there to challenge and does just enough for the ball to roll out of the rim and into DeTurley's hands as he goes the other way. Crosses in, takes a lot of contact, and the foul is called.
Really smart from Jay DeTurley there to recognize that Cameron was still coming back from his layup attempt there, and seeing that there was space inside, he can cut in, try to create opportunity for himself, and ends up winning the foul. Jay DeTurley is a very good free throw shooter, shooting at .935 on the season. But of course, as I said that, he's likely to miss due to our rate tonight.
And Jay DeTurley can really score the basketball and
overrides the commentary curse there.
Yeah, I mean, he's too good a shooter to do that. And we're safe.
Yeah, we're good. He hits both of them, coming with some huge points to give the Jumbos the lead again as this game really goes back and forth.
48-47, just under 9 minutes to go. Nikki Johnson brings the ball up across the timeline at the top of the key, dancing on Maracas, little spin move, finds Region way too open, and he's not going to miss many of those.
And DeTurley just completely lost track of Region there. He was somewhere on the free throw line, and Region was just spotting up at the top of the key.
Definitely a player you do not want to get an open look like that.
Now McLaren out to Bernstein, who's going to scan the inside of the paint. Finds Jamesi, kicks it out. Maracas in the corner, takes it baseline. Little post move, sees two. DeTurley going to drive in, float with the right, and a tough make there to bring us to a tie ball game. The Cardinals move quickly. Hauser takes it over Bernstein.
Tufts had an advantage there as DeTurley was down on the other side of the court, or Wesleyan did, but stopped the play now for that.
Glad to see he's got up and walking all right.
That was a tough shot that he made through a lot of contact there.
Very impressive play from Jay DeTurley, especially after, Danielle, as you mentioned, maybe a defensive mishap on the other end, really redeeming himself on the offensive end.
That's the best way to redeem yourself, is get it right back.
And as the game is tied 50-50, the Cardinals call a timeout.
Yeah, we saw Nikki Johnson take maybe 1 or 2 minutes on the bench just now, and then he's right back to the lineup, hoping to galvanize another quick run for the Cardinals here to put them up a little more of a significant margin. They've already come back down 8 from halftime.
And just an update for those who are tracking the other NESCAC games. Bates is still leading Trinity 64-63. The Bantams will be coming here to Cousins tomorrow. And coming off a loss, or at least a tight game to, let's face it, the worst team in the NESCAC, is not a good look for them. They, until last weekend, were undefeated, ranked number 5 in the country. They have dropped off after that loss to Williams, but that's really interesting to see. Amherst is keeping their 9-point lead against Colby, which, as we mentioned, has large implications on this game. Conn College is beating Middlebury by 7 up in Vermont, so that's an interesting one. And Hamilton-Bowdoin is tied 46-46. Real tight games this weekend, and this one is no exception.
By 2 Cardinals. Draws the foul there.
Yeah, Regent didn't really give Maracas to land there as he jumped up for the ball. That's an easy blocking call for the ref.
Yeah, and Regent's a player who does tend to accumulate fouls. That is, I believe, only his first in the night, so not too much of a worry for the Cardinals at this point.
Cormier with good ball pressure, or with good off-ball pressure on Maracas, making it tough for McLaren to find the inbounds, but they get it across the timeline. Jamesi at the high post, goes to work on Hauser, kicks it out to no one in particular. The ball looked like it was going to Coach Linton more than anyone else on the floor.
Yeah, and he's been doing these really creative jump passes that have generally worked quite well, but this time it just doesn't quite play off. I think McLaren was in the general vicinity, but he had started running in a different direction. Just unfortunate miscommunication and a rough one to have in a game as tight as this.
That's a risk of doing a jump pass, is that once you're in the air, you've booked your ticket, you've made your decision.
And Johnson takes it right at Bernstein, but Bernstein says no thank you. He snuffs that one out. And
that is surprisingly Bernstein's first block of the night. He has averaged more than 2 blocks per game this season, so coming a little bit later than we expected at least. And considering how Cormier has 3 blocks already this game, it's good for the Jumbos to see their big blocking presence in the middle finally getting on the board there.
Jamesi with some good vertical defense there. And DeTurley is going to run the show with Bernstein. Stops, pops, short. Bernstein's there. Soft touch off the glass and gives the Jumbos a 2-point advantage.
It almost looked like DeTurley intended that, seeing that Bernstein had the space, maybe playing it off the rim a little bit to create an opportunity for him. Well read by Bernstein to find the opportunity.
And Fritz Hauser off the pass from Nicky Johnson got a step and took it straight to the rim.
He moves really well for someone of his size, and he's just body composure there to hang and still finish. It was very impressive.
Now Maracas slithering inside, finds the feed to Bernstein, who takes the contact and finishes anyways.
Yeah, Bernstein has been getting some really good inside leverage on these past couple of plays. He kind of sealed off his defender off the DeTurley miss, and then now just slipping behind the defense for an easy 2.
And Coach Riley adapting to that. He's seen this as well. He chooses to put Cameron back on, who has been a very strong defender. Bernstein seemed to be getting the better of Langs, who kind of lost track of him a few times the last few plays, but Cameron, a very capable defender, as we've seen throughout this game.
And with around 6.5 minutes to go in this game, the Jumbos are now in the bonus. So they're going to be shooting free throws the rest of the way. And Cormier comes up off the Bernstein miss. And it's right to Regent, who gets to work quickly. And right back with an answer. Takes the contact from Maracas and finishes, and a chance for one more.
I think Regent may have heard us in that second half talk about how he had been kind of quiet. He has really picked it up, especially in these last, 8 minutes or so. Coming in now up to 18 points. Could be 19 if he hits this and one. A really great waking up from the highest scoring player in the NESCAC.
Yeah, the Tufts caught out of rotation there a little bit. Ideally, you would have a help defender there to make that shot a little more difficult, but it was just Maracas that time.
And Regent rims in and out to DeTurley, who's going to run the show. Bernstein on the roll. DeTurley doesn't find a Medley on the left wing. Finds Jamesi, short corner, going to go to work. Medley, step back, and just short there. And Cormier pushes the pace, finds Regent. He's been playing well the second half. Into the middle of the defense, finds Hauser in the corner. Misses long. Champion comes up with it.
A rare miss from Hauser from 3. Great opportunity given to him by Region, but unable to convert that time.
Now Champion with tons of space. Josh Cameron is there to close it out and says, not here, not today.
It was initially a really good screen there set for Champion. He had a lot of space, but Cameron just engulfed that shot.
And Coach Linton will call a timeout for the Jumbos. It's a tie game, just under 6 minutes to go. There's still a lot of time left in this game, and we've seen it's a game of momentum. We've felt the momentum shift so many times between these two squads.
Yeah, and I think Coach Riley might be trying to get some momentum back to this Wesleyan team here as they have this really interesting situation in the paint lately, as we've seen Cameron comes with a big block there, big defensive presence, which I don't feel like Lang's brought as much of. So having Cameron back in the court, I think, creates a lot more opportunities for the Wesleyan defense to go look for those steals, look for those opportunities to create some more chaos out in the backcourt, because they know they have a good defensive presence inside the paint.
Right, and taking a timeout here also gives your star players a chance to rest, as Region has played all 34 minutes of this game so far, and I'm sure he's looking forward to sitting down on the bench for a little bit.
And not only has he played all 34 minutes, he's been putting his heart in. He's been going up a lot. He goes up for those. He likes to jump, go up to the hoop, and often, as we see, takes a hit, falls down, gets in situations where it's a lot of pressure on him, and having a little bit of a rest can't be a bad thing for a player of his caliber.
In the backcourt of the Cardinals, not only Region, but Nikki Johnson, too, playing heavy minutes, and you know that both coaches are well aware of the importance of this game and are taking this very seriously, and it's giving us a great contest tonight.
And we've been talking about the rebounding battle, and the Jumbos have pulled a little bit ahead in that. 39 rebounds to Wesleyan's 32, but as we see, it's still a very tight game. Still could go anyone's way.
Now the out-of-timeout play goes to Bernstein, going to hand it off to Champion. Bobbles it just a little bit. And Medley's going to reset up top. And now Deterley gets it, thinks about it, pulls it, and short, and it goes to Nikki Johnson.
Yeah, and Cameron playing against Bernstein there just makes those picks and those handoffs a tiny bit harder. You know, there's a bobble, there's a backup, and then there's a soft double off of the pick. It's jamming up the Tufts offense a little bit.
Tufts offense is very stagnant as well that last play.
And Region is going to like that look every time. He had the mismatch, he had Bernstein on him, and he just walked him out to the three-point line, stepped it back, and nothing but net. No, good ball movement. Jamesi in the middle of the lane, a little baby hook. Keeps the Jumbos within 1 point.
Both the Jumbos and the Cardinals having their best players step up in these key moments. 5 minutes left in the game, you need your star players firing on all cylinders, and in that case, both sides have their biggest scorer come in with a big basket.
And Region hunting that mismatch with Bernstein, doesn't get it that time, and Medley comes up with the ball in the corner. And Deterley's going to bring it up.
That's the matchup we wanted to see, and it's been a treat so far.
Deterley and Jamesi. Out to Medley on the right wing. Now a lot of ball movement on the perimeter. The Jumbos need to get something inside to create some space. Medley does it, kicks it out to the corner. Champion off to the right just a little bit. But Jamesi, an excellent job tipping it back out to Deterley and giving them another possession.
Jamesi has already hit his average double-double for the day on 12 rebounds, 11 points. He's looking to add some more right here.
Now Jamesi gets the turn on Cameron, stops, turns it around, flips it up, and gives the Jumbos a 1 point lead with just under 4 minutes to go.
Every time Jamesi turns back around to his right for that hook shot, I think it's going in every time, and really it almost does every time.
He does love that shot. Loves to go for that little hook shot. And Region's bread and butter shot is that three from there. And really hard to stop at this point when they're putting so much pressure on him. He still hits it.
Yeah, Tufts is entering a bit of a math problem right here. They're exchanging 2 points for 3 points with Region. So they're going to have to get stops or get threes up.
And now Deterley's we're going to see if he can do that. He's probing inside Gets out to the baseline. Champion fading left. In and out. Jamesi's there for the follow. And that's 3 straight buckets for Scott Jamesi. And keeps this game tied with 3 minutes to go.
Yeah, he got good inside position on Region that time. Able to just overpower him and scoop it back up for the putback.
Yeah, just not much you could really say about that aside from it's just Jamesi doing Jamesi things. He gets the offensive rebound. He gets the basket. Really well played from Jamesi.
And a lot of good old school in the paint basketball here. Jamesi doesn't do a whole lot from beyond the arc and has been doing everything inside the paint. Rebounding, finishing.
To be fair to him, he did hit a 3 earlier today as well. He has been doing literally everything. As well, Region has come alive. This guy's on 24 points now. Quiet first half by his standards, but second half has certainly made up for it.
Yeah, with 4 3-pointers made on the day, and he's just been abusing the switch when Bernstein comes out onto him on the perimeter.
Surprisingly, Jamesi only has 2 assists. With considering how many great passes he's been making to the middle, I would have expected to see that number a lot higher. Getting close to triple-double, but that's not in the cards today, it seems. Daniel, what do you think Wesleyan's trying to do in this last 2 minutes, 55 seconds to win this game?
Well, they're going to come out and run a set play. They want to get quality looks on the offensive end because we're entering a point in the game where every score matters. And then they also want to shore up their side of the defensive end. Both sides have been exchanging buckets right now, and it's going to be important to just whichever team can get that one stop could be the thing that decides the game.
And the Jumbos in the last few possessions slowing the tempo down just a little bit, maybe trying to get a little bit of control back into the game. And we have about 3 minutes left to go here. It's tie game and it's anyone's game.
And you do wonder, those Jumbos have had a few possessions where they've had a good look on a 3 and not been able to convert it. So if they can start to get those to fall as well, that may be the difference in this game. Come out in the full court press after timeout once again.
No, the Cardinals get it back to Cormier, who will bring it up and get it to Nicky Johnson, their floor general. He's been running the show amazingly today. Finds Region, who's had the hot hand. He finds the switch that he wants, and he's been taking this matchup well. Gets stuck under the rim, kicks out. Johnson, pump fake, passes it around Bernstein, and he's there to say no thank you to Josh Cameron.
They kept trying to get people on Bernstein in the middle, but Bernstein just responding really well to every time it happened and coming up and in with a block. I think it's a very fitting way to end that possession.
Able to slide his feet well and keep up with Region on the perimeter that time.
Now DeTurley finds the middle of the floor, just rims in and out. And Cormier comes up with it and is going to push it down the floor.
Yeah, those are the shots you really need to hit at this stage in the game.
Jamesi flies by Hauser, and a foul there on the floor on Champion as he tried to drive past Scott Jamesi.
Hauser played that really well, getting in front of his man and then slowing down a bit, creating a space where he had his man on his back, forcing Champion to commit the foul.
Now Region, the trigger man. Nicky Johnson probing underneath. Finds Cormier. Bernstein's there to contest it, but it just dribbles in.
Johnson is so nice with those assists. Jumps up, just a little flick down, sets up a great basket for Cormier. You can see why he is considered one of the best assisters in the league.
And a huge possession for the Jumbos. Champion looking for an entry pass into Jamesi. Doesn't see it. Goes up top with Bernstein. Takes it himself and rolls into the hoop. We've got a tie game with 1.5 minutes to go.
Champion trying to get the ball off Johnson early off the inbound. Ends up committing a foul, and since they're in the bonus, Johnson will go to the line. It's not the time for fouling.
Yeah, that was unlucky as they just collided on the way up.
That's Champion's third as well. At this stage of the game, again, not necessarily a terrifying sight to have, but still something to keep an eye on.
Johnson, an 82-ish% free throw shooter with a lot of composure there, knocking down the first. And Johnson, as calm as you like. Cardinals up 2 with a minute and a half to go. The Jumbos are really going to need to do well this possession as Turley brings it up.
It's a mark of a veteran there. Johnson, having played so much basketball the last 3 years, he knows what to do in these tight situations.
Bernstein in the corner. Medley, the freshman, a huge three! Puts the Jumbos in front by 1.
And you can talk all you want about veteran players, but sometimes you just got to have ice in your veins like Medley does, coming in clutch there with that massive three-pointer to give the Jumbos the lead.
And now we've got a minute left. It's a 1-point game. Cameron with it at the top. They're going to region. And if there's anyone that you want with the ball, it's him. He's got the matchup he likes with Bernstein. Steps it back. Bernstein's there to cover it. Johnson on Jamesi. Steps it back. 3. And it's good! A huge shot. And talk about composure. Nikki Johnson, as cool as you like. Turley wants to move fast. Turns. Fades. Long. And region bumped a little bit by Jamesi there, and you can feel the game slipping out of the Jumbos' control just a little bit there.
What a shot there by Nikki Johnson. That's just individual talent. Sometimes great offense beats great defense, and that was the case right there to give his team the lead late in the second half.
And Region fouled the line here. A 77% free throw shooter. Definitely a player who the Cardinals don't mind seeing come up to the line in a situation like this.
And now with a chance to make it a 3-point game. Region off back rim to Turley. And a gift from above.
And the atmosphere coming in big there. Loud noises from the Cousins crowd, possibly getting into Region's head.
Now the freshman Medley finds the Turley in the corner, short. And the Jumbos foul. Bernstein on Johnson.
Turley has had a rough 3 minutes here to finish up this game, missing some makeable shots, especially for someone of his standard.
And Johnson, like Region, is a very good free throw shooter. So Region wasn't able to hit his. Will Johnson be able to do it?
Just a couple possessions ago, hit 2 to put the Cardinals up. And misses long again. Bernstein comes up with it. The Cardinals are giving the Jumbos a chance to keep this game alive. Champion going down, finds Jamesi. Out to Turley, into Bernstein. And it's tied! 0.9 seconds left on the clock, and we're going to overtime here in Cousins Gymnasium. What a finish! The Cardinals missing a couple huge free throws there from players that normally make them. I mean, you have Shane Region, who's a phenomenal free throw shooter and has been playing amazing today, and you have Nikki Johnson, who just made 2 huge clutch free throws to put the Cardinals up 2, and the Jumbos doing a great job getting it off the rebound, running it down, finding their big man inside. And earlier this year against Keene State, Bernstein did a similar thing, Daniel.
Oh yeah? Yeah, this is not new for him. He's not new to the moment. You know, Tufts offense showed great composure there, good patience to wait for the opening. Bernstein also patience, not going right up, but waiting and going to the other side of the rim. And that also just wound down the clock a little bit more to force just an absolute prayer from Nikki Johnson, and here we are.
And can we talk about that pass from Kai Champion? Finding Bernstein with space out of the perimeter. He sees the big man with an opportunity to convert it. Excellent pass, and then Bernstein calmly just sets it into the basket. A well-executed play, though, as well from the Jumbos in a time that can be quite frantic in the last 10 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, that's the benefit of not calling the timeout, right? You let your players play. If you trust them, like Coach Linton did in that moment, you don't let the Wesleyan defense set up. There's a little bit of confusion, and Josh Bernstein ends up leaking through.
And Wesleyan are no strangers to overtime. They have had 2 games in overtime this season. 1 win, 1 loss. And their loss to Trinity, a top team who are currently in a tight matchup against Bates, where they're pulling it out 82-70. And then against Hamilton, who they ended up beating in double overtime in Middletown. So they're used to this type of situation. We'll see if they can take this experience into this tight game.
Now Bernstein and Cameron lining up in the middle of the tip. 5 minutes on the clock, and it's a 0-0 basketball game effectively as Jamesi controls and gives the Jumbos the first possession of the overtime period. And Champion looking for the entry pass to Bernstein. Doesn't like what he sees. Goes to Medley. Back to Champion. finds it over to Bernstein, who brings it in and around, and it bounces in and one. Bernstein back-to-back huge plays for a huge man.
Yeah, Hauser is caught fronting Bernstein there, and Champion it took a little bit, but he got the ball back, and he just passed it right over the top, and Bernstein then just waited for the over-aggressive defender there to make his jump and then put it in the hoop.
Now Bernstein nails it to give the Jumbos a 3-point cushion. And now it's the Cardinals' first time with the ball here in overtime. Let's see how they respond.
And Bernstein's not necessarily the strongest free throw shooter on the team with a 61%, but big free throw there.
And now Region picking on Medley. Drives it inside, falls on his back. Jamesi, open lane, throws it down, and it's a 5-point game. Early in overtime, the Jumbos responding well.
Immediately a timeout called by Coach Riley because we know how much momentum is important in this game, and it feels like the Jumbos have all of it right now.
Yeah, there that time it was just clear out and let your best player do the work. Medley fires it ahead to Jamesi, who rises it up, elevates up high and down hard for the tough slam.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but at this point, this is where the home field advantage comes in. The home court advantage that the Jumbos have that the Cardinals have really struggled to break down. They've lost a lot of tight games this year, especially away games. And you wonder if the noise of Cousins, the loud crowd chanting when those free throws are taken, when you have those chances, it's really coming into play here. It's really rough for Wesleyan to try to shoot free throws when there's just stomping and noise everywhere.
And we've been talking about momentum all night, and it's been like a pendulum. It's been swinging back and forth, but you can't help but feel with the way that this game went to overtime with the big Bernstein bucket underneath, and then him opening up the overtime period immediately with an and one, you can't help but feel that the Jumbos may have gained a little bit more control over this one.
Yeah, I'd just like to highlight John Medley's individual defense there on Region, just forcing that turnover and able to pass it in for Jamesi's basket.
And the best part about this is we're less than a minute into overtime. There's a lot of basketball left to be played.
We're in for a treat here. This never fails to disappoint, and this game is just finding new ways to keep us entertained.
Now Cormier is going to inbound on the baseline. The Jumbos are going to come out in a semi-full court press with Bernstein hanging back to protect the rim.
You wonder as well if fatigue may have played into this a bit. Region has played every minute of this game, and now on to 41 minutes. And with how much he's had the ball, how much he's had to run around, you wonder if he's able to keep going at this point and play at the level we expect him to play at.
Now Hauser, another big minute muncher there in Johnson. Misses short, and it might be those legs coming in. Hauser in the corner finds Region on Jamesi. Doesn't like the matchup. Johnson drives in and finishes with a soft kiss off the glass.
Medley trying to get in there and get another block, but well played from Johnson to get around.
Medley, the freshman, closing out this game with some strong minutes out to champion Bernstein. Back to Medley. Finds DeTurley with the entry pass. Bernstein's been hot. He must be feeling it. Little turn, little baby hook. And how important has Josh Bernstein been for the Jumbos here at the end of this game?
He's putting the team on his back right now. Just nice, calm and steady presence down low, and just everything is working. He's firing all cylinders.
Now Medley taking a little dip. Bernstein, the great vertical contest on Region, and the Jumbos have it with just over 2.5 left to go in overtime.
You've got to appreciate the trust that Coach Linton is putting in Champion and Medley. Two players who don't normally start, but often close out games. We saw against Williams 2 weeks ago. They were in very clutch moments, and then here they are still on the court in a very, very important time. We saw Medley hit a very big three a couple minutes ago. So you like to see the trust that Linton has in so many different players on the team.
Yeah, and that matchups well right now for a smaller Cardinals unit to get some more foot speed on the floor.
Now Casey McLaren checks in for Jay DeTurley, putting a little bit more size on the floor for the Jumbos, and Bernstein was fouled, and the Jumbos are in the bonus, so he's going to be at the line for free throw, at least one free throw after this timeout.
Yeah, Wesleyan going to take a timeout here, hoping to find a way back into this game. They're down by 5. They're tired. They're facing Bernstein, who is on fire, seemingly can't miss, and this is a really crucial point for Coach Riley to galvanize his side into a important final 2.5 minutes here.
Yep, it's still a 2-possession game. 2.5 left to go. This is still very much within the reach of Wesleyan right now, but what you can't do is run down the clock on a long possession and come away with nothing right now.
And I'll express, I'm a little bit worried about how Wesleyan walked out of that timeout. They looked defeated. Players shirts over their eyes. I'm sure it's just tiredness, but that's not necessarily the sign of energy, excitement you want to expect coming out of a timeout in a period like this.
Fritz Hauser with 35 minutes played, Nikki Johnson 40, Shane Region with 42. There are some tired legs out there for the Cardinals. And Bernstein in and out, giving the Cardinals just a little bit more hope as Region brings it up. He's got Medley on him. And Medley forcing Region right, not his dominant hand. Nikki Johnson turns on Champion, hangs, and misses just short again. And as we're saying, those tired legs might be coming into factor here. It's been a long night. It's been a high-paced basketball game too. And Champion gets the step on Johnson, takes the bump, and kisses it off the glass. And it's a 7-point game with 2 minutes to go.
Just put Nikki Johnson in the weight room right there.
And now Medley.
So he fouled Region there. Region will go to the line, who missed a very, very crucial free throw at the end of the last few minutes of regulation. See if he can make up for that here at the line.
You know, a whole host of factors led to us getting to overtime, including 2 big missed free throws from some of the main guys on the Trinity team. And you can imagine how that's played in along with the tired legs going into, and Region misses short again. I mean, there are a whole lot of things that came into this, and it might just be carrying into this overtime period.
Yeah, one thing to note here, we're seeing Sam Pullman check into the game. I don't think we've seen him for quite a while now. And that's one of the shifts that Coach Riley is going to look for to see if they can stop this game from completely getting out of hand.
And Region nails the second free throw to give him 25 on the night. And Medley brings it up.
Jumbo's going to take it slow here as they know they have time to kill.
Now Champion left wing looking for Medley, who dances, steps back, thought about it. Jamesi hands it off to Champion, gets a quick step, and Josh Cameron, I think, got a piece of that, swatted it off the glass. And Region comes in quick and misses off front iron. DeTurley corrals the rebound, fights off the pressure. Doubled there, fouled by Shane Region. And with a minute and 15 to go, 6-point game. Jay DeTurley, an excellent free throw shooter, going to the line.
But as we've seen, an excellent free throw shooter can miss free throws at this point in the game. We saw 2 excellent free throw shooters miss crucial free throws for Wesleyan near the end of the regulation. Can DeTurley hit free throws here in this silent Cousins gymnasium? And he does. True. Again, you wonder how the noise factor plays in there, as it is absolutely silent as he takes the shots.
And DeTurley goes 2 for 2. Ice in his veins there, and it just looks a little bit tougher for the Cardinals to come back now with a minute and 15 to go. But anything can still happen, and the Jumbos are in a full court press as Sam Pullman starts bringing it up across the half-court line. And now Pullman going to probe on the perimeter. And now Hauser kicks out. Josh Cameron, not a threat from outside, works his way in, finds Region, and it looks like Medley got a little bit of a tip on it. Jamesi going to dribble it out, and slows it down. Takes a little bit of a bump from Hauser. I think he was trying to foul. And Nikki Johnson gets the reach on Champion.
Yeah, and it came down to late game execution in the end. Free throws really sealed the deal there from Deturley, and now Tufts is going to have another opportunity at the line to bring this one home.
Coach Riley taking his final timeout here, hoping to find something that can erase this 8-point deficit they have now acquired. It looks like a very tall task, but we'll see if Riley and the Wesleyan squad can come up with the answer to this Jumbo's overtime team.
And let's shift the attention a little bit to the team that's in the lead. The mental fortitude for them to come from the end of the fourth quarter where it looked like the game was getting maybe a little bit out of reach. Maybe they just slipped out of their hands, coming back and taking full control of it, up 8 with 47 seconds to go.
Yeah, and it's so easy to have that last-second buzzer beater in the second half just be the crowning achievement, and then not be able to get the same emotional rise out of your players going into overtime. But that has not been the case. Tufts has stayed consistent here, and they've really just been able to follow through on that momentum.
Now it'll be Champion at the line for 2. 8-point game. These are some big free throws. Champion can really put a dent into the hopes of the Cardinals here. Now a wave of silence will come over this gym as Champion steps up to the line. Here.
Slightly shaky, but point to point. And a 9-point deficit looks even taller for the Cardinals.
An off back rim there is another missed free throw. Going to haunt a team here. Nikki Johnson, quick trigger, off back rim. Bernstein there to control it. Deturley gets the pass from him, and that might just be it.
I don't know about you guys, but that was pretty cool from Deturley. He did a little dodge of Johnson's attempted foul, kind of ninja-y, martial artsy.
Yeah.
That was
A little bit of Neo from the Matrix there just to shave a couple more seconds off the clock. And in the same fashion as Champion just a couple shots ago, off front rim, off the glass, and into the bucket, makes it a 10-point game. And in the same manner, going 1 for 2, I mean, there's still hope. Pullman pulls up. Bernstein again, a big rebound. And that's going to do it here in Cousins. Pullman's going to foul Kai Champion as he brings it across the timeline. So he's going to get 2 more free throws and a chance to add to his stats a little bit. He's got 12 on the night, a chance for 14.
Yeah, and you're right. That is going to do it here for the Cardinals, as it doesn't matter if Champion knocks these down or not.
And this will be a huge win for the Jumbos if, as we expect to happen, goes through, making it pretty much guaranteeing them a NESCAC playoff position. And depending on what happens, could be a home game in Cousins next weekend. We'll see what happens tomorrow as they face Trinity. For the Cardinals, they will have Bates tomorrow up in Lewiston, a team that they should be hoping to win if they want to get into a NESCAC playoff spot.
And Johnson rims off. That'll do it here. Spirited game from the Jumbos. When it looked like it might be slipping away, they came and fought right back, controlled overtime from pretty much start to finish. A well-fought game from the Cardinals, keeping it close the entire way. Final score, 82-70. The Tufts University Jumbos are going to come away with the win here. Daniel, tell us a bit about how they did that.
Yeah, I mean, we've mentioned this a lot, but it was a combined effort for the entire team. It wasn't one guy doing it, but a lot of individuals making great plays down late in the second half into overtime that just secured it. Jamesi had an amazing game. Medley was really key in the end, and then really excellent shot making from Bernstein for a couple plays and Champion to finish it off.
We'll be right back with an interview with the big man, the guy that came up clutch, Josh Bernstein, in just a moment. But for now, final score 82, Tufts 82, Wesleyan 70 here in Cousins Gymnasium.
All right, and we are joined now by Josh Bernstein, the hero of the really tight overtime thriller we just watched. Bernstein hit an incredible basket in the last few seconds to tie the game. Can you walk us through what you were thinking in that last play?
Yeah, I mean, it was really just the ball found me. I think what happened was we added some new plays this week that I think was really smart choice from the coaching decisions, and so I think that confused them a little bit, and so I ended up wide open down there, and then Jay saw me and lobbed it over, and then luckily the bench was screaming the time, so we knew exactly what we had to do.
Yeah, it was an excellent conversion in a really tight last-second situation. You guys kept your heads well and were able to find the tying basket. And now we know this is a massive game tonight for the NESCAC playoff picture. This almost guarantees you a NESCAC playoff spot, and depending on how things go tomorrow, you could get a home game in Cousins next week, which would, I think, everyone's rooting for.
For sure.
So how does this game, the way it ended, affect your mental and your approach to tomorrow's game with Trinity?
Yeah, I mean, first off, this whole week we've been saying we've had key words every week. You know, this week it's focus, and we knew that this was a Super Bowl. This weekend's our Super Bowl. It's a playoff game. It isn't, but it is, you know. And so we took this game with 100% seriousness. There was no doubt in every practice that we knew what we had to do this weekend. And I think going tomorrow is great. You know, we got senior day. They're 21-1. They have an unbelievable year, Trinity. We played them a tight game last year away, so I think we're just going to be really focused, watch the scout tonight, and then, you know, go into shoot around tomorrow with the same mentality.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Josh Bernstein, for joining us for this interview. Excellent game tonight, and we wish you the best of luck tomorrow.
Appreciate it. Thank you.